OCPodcasts.com.
AirWreckRadio. Come to the edge, he said. They said, we are afraid. Come to the edge, he said. They came. He pushed them, and they flew. Guillaume Apollinaire, 1918 French poet.
Come to the edge, and they came?
And then they flew.
Too easy.
It's a goddamn joke. It's quid pro quo de facto. This democracy's a hoax. Stacey says, man, it's time to act. Keep your wallet where your heart is. We can take the power back. So go get a bowl, a spoon, and some cereal, and sit your ass down. It's time for AirWreckRadio.
It is the 23rd day in this beautiful, beautiful month of June. It is the beginning of summer, officially. I'm Cory.
And I'm Stacey.
And this is episode, what now?
57 or something?
No, 59.
50, what?
Pretty sure we're up to 59, brother.
Who cares? I'll figure it out when I'm labeling the show.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and then you don't post that in the name so anybody else knows.
Exactly, because who cares?
But,
do you think people care?
yeah, have you noticed that every other podcast does it?
Hey,
It's because people care.
every other podcast does a lot of things, Cory. Here on AirWreckRadio, we do our thing. I do my thing anyway. You know,
Yeah.
you're welcome to your input.
In fact, this might be the first time you've heard that I've had anything to say about that. I don't know.
It might be. I know we start the show almost weekly with this kind of conversation about how, does the date matter? Does the time
Show
matter?
matter.
Does the show matter? And then about 2 hours later, we realize the show doesn't matter. I'm drunk and going to bed. So, folks, in 2 hours, I'll be drunk and going to bed.
2 hours, really? Think you're going to whip it off that fast, do you?
Maybe.
Oh,
It's happened before.
Maybe it didn't happen last week.
2 hours of recording time. Oh, my God. Whoa, folks, let me just say I'm sorry the show was late last week. You have no idea.
It was a workload. He had a workload.
Listen, man, trying to do, I don't know if you could tell from the audio or if you give a shit, but Ron was not in studio with us. We were Skyping to him. And I don't know if you've ever tried to record your own podcast on Skype. I never had. And when I did, it became very difficult to edit.
Yeah. Well, some engineering things to work out, but
Yeah.
you never know until you do it and fail.
Hey,
This is the first time we did a Skype interview with the new studio.
it got out there and it was barely a full day late.
Exactly. So, whatever. It's podcasting. It
Yep.
doesn't matter if it's a day late once in a while.
Yep.
It could happen.
Folks,
Nice.
if you missed last week's show, check it out. It was a good show. Lots of conversation with Ron Fugel from
Yeah,
Fire
I just
and
want to have
Toast.
him on every week from now on.
Yeah. Except
Listen.
for I'm not editing that shit. So
Yeah, well,
no.
It's like anything else we do. As we do it, we'll get more concise and better at it.
What an editing disaster.
Oh, it happens, though. I've had quite a few editing disasters in the first 40-some-odd episodes I edited.
Editing disasters happen.
Yeah, I've had quite a few in the first 40 episodes where we were really getting our footing. But
We now have this has been the shortest episode ever before there was an editing disaster. Folks, you just missed like a solid 30 seconds that I'm going to remove from the audio to the benefit of your ears.
more engineering mistakes.
We've never been less than 5 minutes in before it was time to start editing something.
Before we had to destroy something. Usually the first 6 minutes is our best 6 minutes. It's like our sex lives.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And if you believe it, you'll stick too.
Ah, sticky.
So, Corey, speaking of being sticky, what the fuck happened to your face, man?
Tuxedo shoes and an open bar.
It looks
And a
like
gravel
tuxedo
driveway.
shoes and an open bar happened to your face. Did you get your ass kicked?
No, sir. No, sir. I'm a very pleasant drunk.
You got your asphalt kicked.
I got one of my very dear friends, probably the largest of my dear friends, got married to a lovely young lady, and I was in the wedding party, the bridal party, and the bar was open at noon for us.
Terrific. When was the wedding?
4
p.m.
Yeah.
Nice.
We were all in a good mood.
I bet.
We were all in a good mood by the time the wedding came around. None of us were too pissed off about being there.
Even the flower girl, the flowers are they're just all not, they're in a wiggly line and shit.
There may or may not have been 4 beers behind the tree right next to where the ceremony was, so they weren't in the pictures.
That's good. We have pictures in our wedding of people holding beers, and I'm like, come on, guys, put the beer down for the fucking picture. It's bad enough we got a bunch of not terrific pictures because we didn't pay a photographer. Somebody helped us out with it, so we're appreciative that somebody was there to help us out with it. However, this person did not do a very dedicated job.
Next time, you know.
There will be no next time.
Well, there will be another time to hire a photographer, trust
Yeah,
me.
for sure. Yeah, when we redo our wedding to get good pictures. Now that we're both skinnier, too.
Skinnier, got a little more money.
So you got drunk, huh?
Oh, boy, I blacked the fuck out. I remember dinner was delicious.
That's good. You know, I hate forgetting a meal.
Okay, we'll throw them the plug because they were very good. They were very nice. It was at the Wedding Barn right here in Rush. It's attached to the Colby's Dairy and Catering.
That's the wedding barn?
There's a big barn.
I've never
it.
seen a sign on it that says the wedding barn.
Well, that's
is
yeah,
that like,
but that's
is that a thing? That's what
yeah.
they call it?
Yeah, that's where they do all their hitchings.
No shit.
And
I didn't know
hitchings
that.
there, and it's a pretty cool old rustic barn.
Well, you got to save a lot on a limo if you're getting married at the place the limos are at.
I'm sure there is a deal there. And there's a deal because there's also a deal with the hotel in town, on the street, and whatever the closest one in Henrietta is. That if you're there for the wedding and you take this coupon, you get like 40-50% off the room or whatever.
I got a coupon. Give me a room for cheap.
I thought it was a hell of an idea.
Sure.
And they have a local bar. Hire a bartender to send the bartender to promote
Was it
their
the
bar.
same hotel as the bar?
No. Well, it might be. Might be.
Because that would make sense.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Now that you say it, it was the same bar as it was, and I knew the barmaid.
Was it the Days Inn?
Yeah, I must have been.
Okay.
It must have been because it was Nashville's,
Yeah, all right.
and I knew.
I don't know why we're trying to be so ubiquitous here.
I don't know. I was trying to give out plugs and shit, and then I wouldn't get to
you're like,
Days
I don't want
Inn,
to say
but
the
it's-
name.
But I knew the barmaid, so it was a mixture of I'm wearing a tuxedo. I was in a wedding since noon. I've been doing this all day. The bar was open.
You were in a tux, huh?
Yeah. We'll get to that part. And
Were the other penguins like this walrus ain't fooling nobody?
I knew the pretty bartender lady.
Nothing?
So I was kind of
Fucking not listening.
Nope.
Damn it, Corey.
Sure wasn't.
You would have laughed. People at home might have laughed.
I hope somebody did. Otherwise, it just died of loneliness.
People at home, if you laughed, chime in. In your good time.
All right. Overwhelming.
Well, they're not going to
response.
do it now. It's a podcast.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So yeah, that fueled with pretty bartender lady. I don't remember anything after dancing in the wedding party dance with the short girl that they stuck me with.
Do you remember getting laid?
No.
Well, I wish I didn't either, because, homie, you weren't that good.
I didn't think you were going to do it. It was there. It was there to be done. But I didn't think you were going to do it.
You were a wreck. I can't say no to that.
All right. fair
No,
enough.
folks, we kid.
It's a delicious mustache, I got to tell you.
There's nothing funny about rape. And there's nothing funny about either Corey or I raping each other at all. That's disgusting.
That is a lot of fucking sweat. That's all. I know.
Next subject. So,
So eventually, I pleaded one of my friends to drive me home in my truck, and they did.
Please take me home. In the dually or your truck?
My truck.
Okay.
And, oh, God, glad I didn't have the dually. Because one of my friends happened to be Angela Shaw.
Angela Shaw?
Angela Shaw saved my life.
Angela Shaw, you're my hero. Sorta.
I don't remember anything after dancing with the pretty girl, the short girl. And then, poof. Woke up the next morning. My face hurt.
Killing me, too.
My hand bleeding. Blood all over the wall.
Beat off too hard.
The tuxedo that I was wearing is half gone. I left half of it at the wedding bar. I haven't chased it down yet.
Bummer. Rental?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I tore the pants.
Good job, Cory. That's nice work.
Yeah.
Listen, coming from somebody who blacks out pretty... I'm a little concerned to say how frequently I actually... But, like, honestly, here's the thing. Here's what happens to me.
But I've never, like, lost memory like this. I've woken up and then spent a couple hours piecing what the fuck happened together. But it's been a day and a half, and I still can't remember a single memory. The recorder got turned off.
That has happened to me, too. But what happens to me more frequently is, like, I hold it to, like, this has happened around here more than once this month. We hang out and, like, I get all drunked up, and I do a good job of, I remember everything that happened while I was in a social context. But I go to bed.
When you're by yourself.
I don't have a fucking clue what happened. I go to bed with Tammy. I wake up in the morning. I'm like, did we, like, do it? I don't know.
She was like, you were a stallion. You're like, shit. Why wasn't I there?
But yeah, it's the weirdest thing, man. Once I get to go to bed mode, my recorder is frequently capable of stopping when I'm inebriated. But sometimes it happens when I'm not.
Bill says that I recorded it. It just got all deleted with the brain cells that died.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the problem. You stored it on those brain cells.
And those are the first ones to die, or the most recently used files.
Anything else exciting happen at the... Well, you wouldn't know, I guess.
No, up until like from noon to 9, no, I pretty much covered everything that was exciting to me.
Probably a bunch of exciting shit happened. It's too bad you don't remember.
Yeah, for the rest of the night. Yeah, no.
Good job recording shit.
Yeah.
You call yourself a broadcaster.
Terrible.
For shame.
Oh, my God. Like, I drank 2 gallons of water the next day. I still feel like shit.
Yeah. That's when you know you did a good job.
I still feel like shit.
When it's Monday and you're still like, oh. So I went out. I went to a picnic kind of thing.
A picnic.
I was invited to an old friend, very old. Like the friend is not old. They're a little older than me, but not like they're not old. Like they're from my past.
So it was not your 90-year-old friend.
No.
From many 30 years ago.
My friend from the 90s.
Oh, okay, gotcha. She has a nice turnaround there.
Yeah.
See?
Who did a terrific job of hosting an event. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun, but something happened there that had happened at another event that I was at with a different person.
Okay.
And I don't remember if I talked about it with you.
Well,
so we're gonna go back into the other event and start there. It was a child's birthday party, and I'm hanging out in the garage with a couple of dudes, like as you'll find me at a lot of children's birthday parties. Away from the kids, hanging out with a couple of dudes my own age and talking about, just the things that, you talk about. So one of these guys who I've known about my whole life, he's an uncouth motherfucker. He's completely proud of the fact that he has no filters, which is fine, man. That's cool. That's cool.
You're telling me that he makes me look eloquent.
Eloquent? No, eloquent is too mild of a word. No. He just...
Because I have a tendency to be a little shocking.
And I'm like, dude, you're like 36. You're a little too old to be talking like a 12-year-old boy. So we're chatting. We're just chatting. We're catching up and stuff. And this little black girl comes through the garage who I don't know and he don't know. And nobody that's in the garage knows this little black girl. But I mean, we're talking about like a 9, 10, 11-year-old. She goes through the garage, polite as punch, says hello.
How you doing, white folk?
Hi. Just walks through. He leans over to me like I'm going to think it's funny. He goes, I didn't know they were letting niggers in here. I was like, yo, dude, you know I got a black daughter, right? He was like, no, I'm just kidding. I know you got, I know, I'm just kidding. I'm like, that's a little girl, dude.
That's a little bit different than a basketball joke. I like to make that reference.
Hey, man.
That was a funny line, but it wasn't, it should make you cringe a little bit, but it's not enough to, it shouldn't be enough to like.
A little girl.
Yeah. Like,
comes through a garage full of
like,
adult white men,
yeah.
and one of these white people feels entitled, like they're going to get a chuckle.
I don't know if it's a word I'd use, but it's a word.
They're going to get a chuckle out of their surrounding white friends. They didn't know they were niggers in here. Fuck you, you asshole. That's a little kid, dude. You don't say stuff like that.
There's a difference between humor and oblique racism.
Yeah, man. Like, who do you think you are? I couldn't believe it. It's one thing to
tell a distasteful joke. There was no punchline.
No.
It was just a statement.
Right, there was nothing funny
hate.
about that. It was really just, fucking black people, huh?
It's just a statement of hate.
White guys, huh? Right? We can get along about this. No, we can't get along about this because I don't think I'm cut from another cloth.
And I know you're in a particularly unique situation in this conversation.
Yeah, listeners, I have a black daughter.
Because
if you don't know.
But even outside of that, and I know for you can't be outside of that, but for me, I can for a moment. And even outside of that, what an ignorant, hateful, dumb thing to say for no reason.
Even before
if you were angry because they'd cut you off and you just slipped and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, dude, if you yell the word at your steering wheel, okay. You know what? That's okay, because we're not talking about a child here.
It's not even okay. It's just forgivable. It's something that happens that you can be forgiven for.
Listen, nobody wants to be known as the person they are when they're in the car driving alone. Nobody wants that.
And everybody knows how I am about censorship. Everybody that's listened to the show for at least a little while, and you and my friends and family know how I am about people having to be censored for fear of persecution. But again, it's one thing to tell a tasteless joke for a laugh, and another thing to just be hateful.
And that's what this was just an event where somebody was being completely hateful because they were surrounded by two other white dudes. One of them is their friend.
They felt secure
enough. And they felt secure enough to lean over to me, who is not your, like, we're acquaintances. We're friendly acquaintances, but I wouldn't go so far as to say we're friends. Hey, if you called me and said, hey, can you help me move a couch? Sure, man. I got nothing going on.
Would you help me move my house?
Yeah, sure. Maybe. Well, I got to see what I got going on. That kind of thing. But, like,
would you help me move a body?
If he called
I'll
me
call
up,
you right back.
If he called me up and said, hey, man, you want to hang out? I'd be like, nah, I'm busy. But if he said, hey, man, I need your help. All right, dude, I can help you. Like that.
Okay.
Felt entitled to lean over to me and say some shit like that. I fucking just couldn't believe it. And I yucked it off, but it was like, dude, that's not like, come on, man.
Yeah, well, there's no use starting a fist fight over it.
I'm to the point after this past weekend where I'm kind of done swallowing my guff. Now, the second offense, this other person who pulled
okay, so we're fast forwarding to a different event.
To this past weekend where I had a great time at this dude's house, and I want to make it clear that I had a really good time at this
person's house. Okay,
and I was glad to be there. And this is a more forgivable thing. This is just like, this is a working class white person faux pas that I've noticed from a lot of white people in my life. So he's telling me this story about he got injured on the job. It's a very legitimate story. He's very legitimately injured. He's doing okay because thank God there's disability and shit that's going to help out, and Child Health Plus and stuff. There's all kinds of programs out there for people who work but got hurt and can't work right now.
Good. That's called being a good part of society. I mean,
that's what society's for.
That's picking up the slack.
It's for helping out when you can't help yourself. And everything about this story was cool and kosher right up until the end of the story when he says, "When I figure all the black people are doing it, so why can't I?" Dude. What can you tell me, please, exactly what is it all the black people are doing?
Listen, and somebody could probably give you a true statistic that would say that the majority of people on public assistance are black.
Well, but I think
I don't have the number, and I'm not claiming to.
I would like to. That's something that I would like to please respond to.
Go ahead.
While it may be true that the majority of people on public assistance are minorities, ethnic minorities, that's because there's more of them cumulatively than the majority, and they live in, generally speaking, poorer neighborhoods.
There you go.
Statistically speaking, they live in poorer neighborhoods where there aren't jobs. People with poor educations are harder to become employed.
I would like to point out one thing. From the way I've understood the statistics, the ethnic minority group as a whole is
the
about
majority.
the same within squeaking distance.
I'll give you that. It's one way or the other.
White majority.
Yeah.
That's still an impressive lead, okay?
But regardless of the fact, you didn't add anything to this story by saying, well, I figured all the black... Because I was with you right up until you said all the black people are doing it.
Then
I'm like,
all
the black people are doing what? What is it that... Are all the black people faking injuries? I don't think that's true.
Yeah, that's...
I think the people you're referring to aren't all the black people. They're just all black people because that's how the city's demographic is. But that doesn't make them all the black people. And it doesn't mean just because you see a bunch of black dudes hanging out on a corner, that's because their houses generally don't have yards. You don't know those dudes don't work. You don't know that. You assume because you see them out in street clothes that they don't also have jobs. And I think there's a fair amount of times that you would be right to assume that. But where are they supposed to fucking work?
Okay, that's... See, you skipped ahead on me a couple of thoughts.
I'm sorry.
I wanted to throw something in there, but... Yep. Couple of things. One, I would like to point out that you're probably... If you're profiling, you're probably going to be right that the ones that standing around the street corner probably don't have a job. Because as a rule, they're at work, people who have jobs.
Quantify standing around at a street corner.
I'm not going to get into extreme detail of standing around a street corner
But
because I get your point, and so does everybody else.
I just want to be clear because this is something that I think a lot of people who voice these opinions to me in my hearing aren't thinking nuanced about. How much exposure do you have to the people standing on the corner? What did you drive by them?
A fair amount. I lived in those neighborhoods. I'm trying to give you my opinion.
I don't mean you. I mean the greater you.
I get what you're saying. But
You drive by them, and you see a bunch of black guys hanging out on a street corner, and you just assume that just because they were there right for you to see them, that's where they've been all day.
Yeah.
And because they all look the same, I can't tell if I came back and it was 3 different guys or 3 of the same.
Okay. Your point is still valid. I get it. What I'm saying is, on a statistical level, if we can both accept that profiling isn't a terrible practice of identification...
I can accept that. I can accept there's a reason we profile.
Then you're probably going to be right. But the core of the problem isn't that the people are standing on the street corner. The core of the problem is that they don't have any other fucking options.
Right. Where are they supposed to work? Everybody...
But that doesn't give... Calm down.
I can't.
I gotta try.
This makes me angry. Go ahead. You drive for a minute.
But that does not give white people the right to feel entitled to say things like, I'm going to do it because all the blacks are doing it.
Yeah, dude, just because you're white and your name's Steve or John or Daryl or... That's probably not the most white name. I was trying to go with really white names, but...
No, Daryl's fine. If it had been Dayrail, then...
D-Rawl. But... I'm saying.
See what that was? Do you see what we just did there? That was a little gentle racist humor.
Right.
We picked fun at the name thing a little bit.
Hey, man, there is nothing wrong with racist humor. Being a racist, on the other hand.
There's a difference between telling a joke and being hateful.
And if you can't see the difference in that, tune out now, because I don't want you to listen, unless you think you might learn something.
I agree with your statement. Just click it off.
This ain't the show. If you can't see that there's a difference between being a racist and making a racist joke...
Click it off.
Hey, man, we've made rape jokes before, but nobody here's a rapist. And there's nothing funny about rape, but there is something funny about rape jokes.
There's a joke to be made from time to time.
I just am so shocked when I hear people say, because I'm just, how do you not fucking think a little deeper? Like, it's one thing to have that thought in your head, okay? But when you're talking to somebody that you're trying to, like, share your stories with, you're trying to be in your conversational game. You know what I mean? You know how it is when you talk to somebody that you don't talk to frequently, you want to present a good foot forward?
Yeah, here's the problem. Here's the problem. I just found out your fucking problem. You're projecting your standards and qualifications onto other people. You're expecting people to think and to feel on the same levels that you do. And I gotta tell you, there's a lot of dumb, shallow fucking people out there.
Well, fucking
and
listeners,
a lot of this is programming. I think of how much of your life is programming from what you learn from your nature and nurture,
how do people not become critical of that? I don't understand it, Corey.
Because
that's the thing.
You just nailed it.
You're completely right about this being a nurture thing, because these two people came from the same poor-ass upbringing that I came up from, and I saw parenting like their parent. I saw their parenting. I know.
You just nailed it.
I know where it comes from. How do you
critical.
How do you not, in your formative teenage years, begin to at least assess the fact that you should be thinking critically?
That's the thing, is that not you think that just because it's such a natural thing for you and the people that you surround yourself with, you think that everybody's supposed to be able to think like that. And I'm here to tell you, brother, from my experience, there's a lot of dumb, shallow people. I'm not saying that's bad. The majority of people are dumb and shallow. Doesn't matter what color you are.
I don't think either of one of these people, the second one of these persons, the one from this weekend, is most certainly not a dumb or shallow person.
And like I said, a lot of it goes back to programming. If you were raised by dumb, shallow people, you might just have the tapes.
I just couldn't believe it. And again, this is another dude completely aware that I have a black daughter. All the black people? My daughter's not on public assistance. We don't qualify.
I don't think she's going to be anytime soon.
But if we did qualify, you bet your ass she would be. That's what it's there for.
Yeah, that's why I pay taxes.
Yeah.
That's why I willingly do that every month.
It's just those kind of statements, man. It's so disappointing when somebody that you like, you enjoy their company, but they just come out and say, and these aren't the only two examples of people I know who have done this.
Some dumb shit.
Sometimes people say some moronic ass shit. I was discussing this with somebody at work today, and they said, well, it's because they don't want to work. Well, how do you know that? Did you go and take a survey? Did you go and survey all the people in the city and see if they didn't want to work? And the majority was like, no, I don't want to work. The man's paying my bills. No, I think that most people, by default, want to work. Now, there are certainly exceptions.
Listen, the most qualified, okay, this might come off misogynistic, and I don't mean to be, but the most qualified workers in their community, most of them aren't on public assistance because they don't qualify.
Right.
Because they're not married or they don't live in the house or whatever, the thousands of rules that would disqualify a father or a male figure from the outside of the house to qualify to be part of the household. That's why there's so much fucking crime, because the primary working base for the community doesn't have any jobs and can't get public assistance. That's why they sell drugs and rob people, because it's the only way you get money.
That is the thing. That's you know what, Corey? That brings up another thing the person I was talking to about this today that wasn't you said. I think they should drug test them all. Well, who's going to pay for that, dude? We can't have nice roads right now because we're so broke.
How do you figure that's okay? How is that constitutionally okay?
Besides constitutionally okay, put that aside, because that's a point, but it's an arguable point. Corey, I could argue it, but I don't agree with my arguments. So
I know the counter argument, but it doesn't.
It's a choice.
To me,
blah,
it doesn't
blah,
make
blah, blah.
sense.
Here's the thing: drug testing is expensive.
It's my body.
Aside from being expensive, what do you think these people are going to do when they lose their benefits? When you drug test somebody straight out of their benefits, what do you think they're going to do for a living?
Turn to crime.
Oh, they're just going to lay down and starve? Is that what you said?
That's not how that works.
No, it's not how that works. What do these fucking people think is going to happen?
You turn to crime. I'll break into your rich white house and steal your food.
And then what? Sooner or later, they're going to hurt somebody or go to jail.
And then
who's going to pay for both of those scenarios?
And then I'll have 3 meals in a cot. 3 hots in a cot.
Right.
And cable television. And a free education.
And now I'm back on the system. Right?
Even more.
So
now that's probably the only way a working age male in that community can get on the damn system is to go to jail.
It's so absurd, the argument that we should drug test recipients of... I understand where that argument comes from. I do. I understand it. I understand your frustration with seeing... See, because people, when they think about welfare recipients and stuff like that, when they think about people living off the system, they think about it like everybody on the system is the same person they were 40 years ago. They think it's the same person on the system the whole time.
But it's amazing.
They rotate in and out, folks. The people on the system changes.
And it's even what you said is an even broader spectrum. As you got to remember, I don't remember who it says, and you might have the reference to who it said it. But one death is a tragedy, and 1 million deaths is a statistic.
I don't know who said that, but I've
you're
heard it before.
Familiar with
it.
It's their numbers. They're literally the same ticker tap person in a contextual kind of way. When you're just talking about millions of people, they got to all be the same people.
Right.
They've all been it the whole time.
They all fit
and
the
they're
same.
Exactly. They all fit the same bill. They're all the same profile person, and they're all on it the whole time, forever till they die.
Right.
So it's not how that works.
It's not.
And
no.
you would think that we might have learned that a little bit with the modern economy and how many white suburban families lost their asses and had to go on public assistance.
Yeah, folks, look around, assholes. The job market's dying, not just because the black people don't have jobs because there's no jobs in the cities, doesn't mean you're securing your job.
Yeah, the comfortable white suburbanites, your jobs are drying up too. And we're off subject here.
How long?
But this hoarding of fucking wealth at the top of the line is leaving everybody at the bottom of the line to die.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And it's making it harder for the people in the middle who have to pay for the people at the top and at the bottom.
Eventually, it's going to work its way up until the system collapses.
I heard
like a fire on a rope.
Shocking statistic this week about that. And, folks, when we come back from break, I'm going to tell you about it. The moral of today's story... Don't be a fucking racist. We'll see you on the other side.
All right.
Hey, folks. This is Stacey from AirWreckRadio. And I thought, boy, this seems like a swell time to tell you where to find us on the wonderful internet tool of Twitter.
The what?
The internet tool of Twitter.
Okay.
You can find me at AWR Stacegos. I guess you can find me and follow me. You can find and follow Cory at...
C-Pain Run.
And you can find AirWreckRadio at AirWreckRadio. Find us, follow us. Because listen, if you're not following us, we're following you, and you ain't gonna like what happens when we get you. Hey everybody, welcome back to AirWreckRadio. For once ever, what we said we were going to do at the end of the last break, we're actually going to do at the start of the next break.
Oh my God, it's a new record.
It's going to happen for once. So I've been reading a book and I found a stat to help describe what I mean by the people in the middle are paying for the people at the top and at the bottom these days. This is from Tom Hartman's Threshold, a wonderful book. A little heavy read, but not difficult. From 2002 to 2005, the first 3 years of the Bush tax cuts, the number of millionaires in America went up 62%.
Wow!
Now, you might think, great, more millionaires. And you're not entirely wrong, except for...
That's a fast...
The unemployment rate also increased, so there was like more millionaires because there was less money being distributed to...
Poor people.
To everybody else. To the people who didn't... Money hoarding. At the same time, median household income remained unchanged at around $44,000 per year.
Yeah, that doesn't... There's a curve there.
The result is that in the first 3 years of the Bush tax cuts, the number of Americans who had to get food stamps just to feed their families jumped 49% to 25.7 million people. So it's not just all the black people, assholes. Stop being racists.
It's all the people.
Now, with that glorious statistic out of the way, shall we headline news?
Shall we, sir?
Let's shall.
Headline News.
Tonight in the headlines, Cory, did you get an Amber Alert on your phone today?
Yes. Yes, I did.
That was really weird seeing like a whole bunch of people act like a bizarre hive, all look at their phones at the same time. Be like, hey, did you get this?
We all got
Did
this.
you get this? Did you get this? No, we just all decided to flash mob our phones.
It was, and I work in a building full of people. I mean, and we were pretty busy today. Everybody stopped and checked their phone within a minute of each other.
We have found a new control device to control the masses. Everybody looked at their phone at the same time. Weird.
One of the reasons I wanted to bring it up was outside. My reaction to this. Let's start at the beginning. I get the thing and I look at it and I'm like, "Oh, it's an Amber Alert."
Cool. Sorta. I mean, except for the fact that there's an Amber Alert. Cool that I got it.
I'm glad that I'm informed with this information.
Kind of not cool that it was not a text. Like once I looked at it, it was gone. It was like a fucking Instagram or whatever that is. You know, where like
it's like a Snapchat,
where somebody sends you like a boob picture and it disappears in 3 minutes.
Snapchat.
Whatever. I don't do that, so I don't know what it's called.
Turns out you gave them consent for that when you signed your contract.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I just like, why wasn't it I looked at it, it's gone. Why is it gone? What is that, time-sensitive material?
Yeah, I don't know. Mine wasn't.
What kind of car was that? I can't remember now.
It was a 2006 Saab 4-door.
As soon as I clicked off, it was gone and complete. I couldn't figure out. I could not find a way to recover it. Now, I didn't.
No, in my phone, it stayed as a text message. I still have it.
I don't believe it came to my phone as a text message. It came on top of my screen. Let's find out.
That happened, too. That happened as well. It came on top of my screen. Well, anyways, my point was...
I do not have it in my text log.
My point is like my initial instinct was, I mean, maybe it's because I'm a father.
Or in my history.
Is that I liked that this had happened. And then I took to the Facebook, to the Book of the Face, moments later, and I just saw tons of people crying about it. I mean, bitching up a storm.
What?
Yes.
About that they got
an Amber Alert
on
about
their phone.
what might be possibly an abducted child. Now it turns out,
how dare I be troubled to take notice of the fact that there may be a missing child nearby me. The nerve of the government.
The nerve.
Fuck you, people. God, be better citizens.
Yeah, even if you don't have skin in the game. Like I said, I feel differently because I have kids. I got a little skin in the game. But can't you pull for society to... Not everything that's different or, new is bad. Sometimes we have good ideas. And I don't know where I stand on this just yet, but I'm leaning towards it's a good idea.
You know what I don't like about it? I have a 2006 Black Saab. Do you know what my ride home was like? Do you know what that was like for me? Because this fucking Amber Alert didn't say anything about who might be driving it, what you might expect to see in it, anything. Just
there's a couple
every
of things.
2006 Black Saab out there today had to fucking sneak home because everybody thought they were a creepy rapist.
That raises a very good point, is there wasn't a lot of information given with this mass.
There wasn't nearly enough information. This is like...
Now,
there's an example from history where this went. Oh, the Boston bombing. When they issued the alert for the Boston bombing, and suddenly it was not safe to be of Turkish descent or whatever. Because you had mobs of people just willing to throw your ass under the bus, whether you were the guy or not.
And with this kind of technology, I don't think it'd be hard to send a link to the poster to give you all the information.
Something about expect to find a white male driving, expect to find there's going to be a girl.
Detail. Is it a white girl? Is it a black girl? Is it a Puerto Rican girl? Is it a boy?
This person that's missing, what do they look like?
Are they old? Are they young? I mean, Amber's young, but are they 16 or are they 4? What's
anything?
What parameters here?
Anything other than just, hey,
but this
every 2006 Saab out there, if it's black, it's bad.
But this was the first time this happened in our area.
That's true.
And there's baby steps to be made.
That's true. But we're here to talk about it, and hopefully other people will talk about it because they heard it on AirWreckRadio. And then the man will get the message from us.
My question is overall... Well, before I get to that, one of my concerns with this new technology is that am I going to start getting one of these every time somebody's toe falls off? If the president's in town, am I going to get one?
Every time, what was the example you just gave?
Somebody's toe falls off.
My toe fell off. Amber Alert. What? Is that something that happens? Oh my God, surprise leprosy.
I don't know, Gout Boy, you tell me.
It's the worst surprise ever. What the fuck is in my shoe rattling around? Oh my God, it's my toe. Amber Alert.
Like, yeah, okay, am I going to get an Amber Alert every 3 days because we now have the technology and shit happens? Like, it turns out in this case that the kid wasn't abducted. She probably stole the car. There's a big investigation.
Yeah, it turns out that this girl is facing some kind of
larceny charges.
Larceny
yeah.
was it.
Yeah. And I'm still okay with it being a false alarm.
You know what
But
sucks?
am I going to now start getting silver alerts too? There's silver alerts are
What's a silver alert?
Same thing as an Amber Alert, but it's for when elderly go missing. Like when your grandpa wandered out of the house in a dementia moment.
They really call that a silver alert?
Silver alert.
Is that true? I'm gonna believe that. I'm gonna say I'm gonna
better
buy it.
believe it.
Hook, line, and sinker. Fine,
That's
whatever.
the way the cookie crumbles.
That's
bro.
great. Oh
Yeah.
gosh.
Am I going to get these? And now every time the president's in town, I'm going to get one. Emergency notification. Roads closed between this. Like,
that's a good idea.
All of a sudden,
sorta.
the sewer systems. Now I'm going to get 390 updates. Like, how deep does this rabbit hole go?
Well,
are they going to start selling me advertising through it to pay for the cost of the system?
Oh God damn it! You're right. They're going to start putting commercials on your phone to pay for the Amber Alert. Next thing you know, they'll be putting commercials on your phone to pay for the campaign of your local campaigny person.
So all these things,
which is fine because I'm going to need help paying for that.
Yeah, fair enough. All these things considered about this new technology. Question asked was: Is this a new example of technology giving us a new safety system, or is this the overreach of government powers? I guess I don't know who's in charge of the Amber Alert system.
I feel quite some.
Or the
federal or
is it
straight
the
state
FAA that did it? Like
I don't
know. I don't even know that. Maybe I should look that up.
I don't think that I would call this an overreach. This one particular instant, I certainly wouldn't say this is an overreach.
Could it be the bore of a monster?
Well, you can kill somebody with a pencil, but that doesn't mean pencils are inherently murder weapons.
Okay, every gun owner argument guy.
Well, right. So, I mean, it goes both ways, man. This first time use, there's not enough data at all to do anything with in this first use of this system. The first time we've been presented with it, it didn't give us enough information to know which 2006 Black Saab to look for. It didn't give us enough information to know how obtrusive is this. It didn't. There's not enough here to make opinions out of, but we can sure speculate. What do you think is the right level?
Me?
Yeah.
I think that as of this moment, I think that we've come up with a decent idea for a decent cause. If I got an Amber Alert every once in a while, hey, be on the lookout for the red Chevy, here's a link for more information.
Right.
I would be grateful for that kind of. That's why I have society to come up with things to make my life better, and my kids safer.
Speaking of Amber Alerts, can I tell you a little anecdote about this weekend?
I don't know how this is going to tie into Amber Alert, but
so I had a side job.
Let's get it on.
I had a side job this weekend, so I'm out in my driveway cleaning this car,
rubbing it out,
and I got my headphones on, because
that's what you do.
I want to listen to music, but I don't want to be obtrusive to my neighbors and have them have to listen to it too.
Oh, what a respectful neighbor part of society you are.
I try to be. So I'm cleaning this car, and I see this girl, this skinny little girl with a backpack on, come walking up the street, and right on the road in the lane opposite from her, going in the same direction as she is this
creeper
blue Silverado crawling down the road, like keeping pace with her right next to her. And I'm like, so I stop working, and I'm looking at this, and I don't know.
It might be your dad.
Right. I don't know. I don't know what's going on here, but I know it's in my neighborhood.
And I'm going to keep it.
So I'm going to go for it.
For.
I'm going to go for it up here a little bit. My head's going to turn. I'm going to stand up and I'm going to watch, and I'm going to make sure that the person driving the truck knows there's people watching him. So they get a little past my house to where I can't really see anymore. And I'm like, I can't just go back to work now and like not know what's going on here.
Got in the bike.
No, I walked. Because I'm not like trying to chase anybody. She's walking and he's going at the same time. I'm not trying to get involved. I'm just trying to moderate, or mediate.
Mediate. Moderate would be a direct confrontation that you were controlling, yeah.
So I stand up and my neighbor from down the street that way, I see him walking down the road. So I was like, I thumbs at them at this, what's going on. I was like, yo, you know what that's about? And he was like, nah, man. I was like, well, let's go for a walk, man.
Find out.
So we walked about a mile behind this truck, at a distance, keeping our distance, just making sure things were all right. And this dude stayed with this chick for quite a distance before she like ran up on his truck, busted the door open. I had called the police by this point. Rips the door open, throws a couple of wild girl punches at this dude, goes back across the street, and he drives off. And so I look at my neighbor. I'm on the phone with the cops right now. Well, with 911 anyway. And I'm like, I tell them what I just told you. Oh, there's a fight now. This is a fight now. Nope, he's driving off. All right, he drove off. We're going to keep walking. So I look at my neighbor. I said, listen, dude, we're going to go up to the next road and make sure he's not just hanging out there waiting to, like, run her ass over or some shit. Because, I'm too far away to hear what's going on, but it's absurd. What's going on is absurd. And everybody on my street was out yesterday because it was beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Everybody was in their driveways. Everybody's watching this, and me and my neighbor from down the street are just walking along behind this girl, and people are like, what's going on up there? We're like, we don't know, but we're watching it. So, sure enough, he went up to the next street and waited for her, and he pulls out, and he's next to her again. So I called the cops again. I was like, listen, this dude is still harassing this chick. We need to get an officer here. They go, oh, there's one dispatch. Now, one did finally come, and I guess she pushed him off, like, told the cop to go away. So...
whatever.
At this point, I'm like, all right, dude, we've done our due diligence. She doesn't want to get a ride with a cop or anything.
But now you can start to make some different kind of assumptions. It seems through the evidence that we've collected that she probably knows this person, and this is more of a spat.
And this dude's not doing anything horrible. He clearly knows this girl, and they clearly are having some kind of spat.
There's an emotional involvement here at some level.
So this is no longer cut and dry. Watch the skinny girl and make sure she's okay. This isn't some creeper.
Because you don't run up on the creeper and punch him in the face.
No, and if you do,
run away.
And if you do, he gets out of the truck.
Exactly.
So he had driven off, and then the cop come by.
This guy took the punches.
Yeah. So we turned around, me and my neighbor, and we passed one of the houses. And the people at the house were like, is everything okay? And I was like, well, I don't know. She said she sent the cop on his way, so I assume everything's okay. And she goes, what was that all about? I said, I don't know. We couldn't hear him at all. She goes, oh, well, all I heard was the little girl screaming at the guy, you called me a cunt and lied about it. And then she started hitting him, and I was like, that's it?
All right. Well, but you did your due diligence. It could have been a creeper.
Absolutely, it could have been a creeper.
It absolutely could have been a creeper.
And that's not how we're going to behave on this street. It's just not how it's going to happen. This isn't that kind of neighborhood, and it's not going to be that kind of neighborhood because there's people like me and my neighbor who are going to look around. All my neighbors watch. We all, it's just how you do it with neighbors. You watch your neighbor's house, man.
The two best security systems on earth are neighbors who know you and a dog that barks.
Even my neighbors that I'm spatting with. When the cops come creeping up on their house, I called them and said, hey, the cops are creeping up on your house.
You even called them on the man. The man is coming for you.
Yeah, man. You look out for your neighbors. You have to. It's part of being a citizen.
Mm-hmm. But they say it's best security. Nosy neighbors and a barking dog.
When I get an Amber Alert, it's going to make me look at the black sobs that are 2006s. But... we should probably be a little more diligent in our Amber Alerts. Oh, ye Amber Alert administrator
or giver outers, distributorers.
You got anything else on that story?
No, you pretty much wrapped it up with your 20-minute creeper story that wasn't a creeper story.
How do you think I felt? I'm trying to do a goddamn side job, man. I'm trying to make my money and get done with this shit, but now I gotta stand up and walk away from it.
Spoken like a true American.
This ain't paying me nothing following this girl down the road, except for the fact that if it was my daughter, I hope somebody would do the same thing.
Up until that last sentence, you were speaking like a true American.
Yeah.
I haven't done on Amber. We can just move on to some headlines.
I was waiting for you to state one.
All right, let's go with the first winner here.
Oh, Casey Kasem died.
All right, we can get that out of the way.
Let's get. Listen,
Technically, we could have done that last week, but maybe it's good that we didn't. Hey, look, it's the bee's knees.
that's only good for us, Corey.
Yeah, so what?
So Casey Kasem,
They pulled the plug.
the voice of.
They stopped feeding him.
Is that what happened? It was I know that it was a bed sore that had become infected.
He was gone.
He had been sick.
He was gone. They were
Yeah.
force feeding him, and there's a level of ethics there when you're force feeding somebody just to keep them alive.
So what you're saying is that Casey Kasem is out like Shiloh's feeding tube.
Yeah, buddy.
That's bringing it back.
Oh,
Way back.
yeah.
So like, who's gonna do my voice in the future, Scoob?
I don't know. Stacey could do it.
Or who's gonna say
But,
holy stupid things to say, Batman? Because he was also the voice of Robin. Not that we, have that cartoon anymore, but
Yeah, all right, fair enough. Unfortunately,
all those Hanna-Barbera commercials or cartoons
are going to need
are out at least one male character.
Yeah.
That stupid car that...
Oh, my God.
You know that car? You remember that car that turned into a person? No?
Transformers?
No. It turned into an actual person. I don't remember the name of the show, but he was the voice of the car, too. He was like a dune buggy that turned into a person.
You got me lost.
This is going back to the USA Cartoon Express, dude. This is way back.
Okay, you got me lost. But I thought the more
Somebody
appropriate
remembers.
tie. I thought the more appropriate tie for podcasters would be the 60 some odd years of radio
Oh, yeah.
that
The
he did. He's
Top
a,
40 Countdown,
He's a radio legend.
like the god of Top 40 Countdowns.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they did a Top 40 Countdown of Top 40 Countdowns, Casey Kasem would be on
number
every
one.
one of them.
As number one.
All 40 of them.
Yeah.
For sure.
So,
Casey
goodbye,
Kasem,
Casey Kasem.
rest in peace, man.
It was a pretty nasty little battle, too, I guess.
They all
Between his
are.
daughter and his new wife.
Oh. What, they getting like a chick fight?
Well, no, with who had power of attorney and who's going to do what.
Oh, that's ill. That's all his business, and he's dead, so his business is no business.
No business like show business.
Yeah.
White House creates new honeybee task force.
Interesting.
Hot off the wire.
See, what we've done is we've attached tiny microchips to bees. There are tiny microchips, but still huge compared to the bees. What we've done is killed a lot of bees.
An attempt to make drones.
Dressed it up as science.
We're like, oh, bees are already drones.
Yeah.
Let's use them.
The story says.
Okay. From The Wire, the White House announced last week the creation of a pollinator health task force, a multi-departmental effort for, quote, understanding, preventing, and recovering from, end quote, mass declines in the U.S. honeybee population.
So, wait.
I like how the end quote fell in the middle. Like, what's the rest of this?
Oh, who knows? They pulled that from some other story. So you're telling me that until late last week, nobody in charge was doing anything about the bees?
Honeybee issue. Yeah, no, they certainly weren't.
Oh God!
Late to the party. According to a fact sheet from the White House, the honeybee population is 2.5 million in 2014, less than half of what it was in the mid-20th century.
Wait, hold on. 2.5 million.
Yeah, that number doesn't seem like that's possible.
Bees?
That
Total.
doesn't seem
Honeybee.
like
That doesn't seem.
that seems very small.
I think that might be like 2.5 million hives. That can't be right. That's less.
Well,
bees.
whatever that number is supposed to be, it is less than half of what it was in the mid-20th century. And since 2006, commercial beekeepers in the United States have been seeing honeybee colony loss rates increase to an average of 30% each winter.
What do? Do they send goddamn tiny census forms to fucking honeybees' tiny mailboxes?
Well, the last one's countable because we're talking about farms. We're talking about bee farms. And
Yeah,
their bees just aren't surviving the winters like they used to.
Well, it's tough times,
Okay.
climate change and poor
now
economy.
I've heard this one, and I don't know how fact-based it is, but on every crazy theory I've heard,
Every single time you start a sentence like this, I put my seatbelt on.
that it's something to do with the cellular signal that we use for everything.
Oh, I've heard that too. It's probable.
It seems that it could fuck with them.
I mean, what's new?
Exactly.
What has changed in the past 20 years?
That's really changed.
Ambient temperature has changed a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Wind has changed a bunch. The magnetic field has fluctuated.
Which it will do.
But hey, we've only really been able to record it this once. And cell phones. So there's 4 things, and there's more than that, but I don't want to laundry list them.
Satellite signal, yeah.
There's 4 things. It's undeniable, I think, that we might have something to do with it.
You think?
I mean, to say that this is just nature's way of murdering the honeybees that keep the goddamn flowers alive.
Keep the planet alive.
Which, yeah exactly. The
very, very important pollinating animals. There's more than just bees, but bees are pretty much the big one.
Do you think Mars and Earth, when they come close together in their various orbits,
okay.
when they pass near each other, Mars ever just looks over at Earth and goes, "Oh no, humans! I had those." Do you think that ever happens?
No, because Mars is dead.
Exactly.
The Presidential Task Force will investigate and combat decreased populations for a number of pollinator species, including birds, bats, and butterflies. But it's the bees that are particularly troublesome.
Yeah, nobody really, butterflies are pretty, but fuck, they're so goddamn temporary anyway. Nobody's going to miss them.
Useless, half male, half female, happening all the time. Freaks.
And bats ate all my pears when I had a pear tree, so fuck them, and they're creepy.
All right. Anything else? We got about birds.
I almost hit a turkey this week on my motorcycle. Scared the shit clean out of me.
The bird, too.
I had a duck, Corey. I had a duck under a turkey.
You had a duck under a turkey?
I literally...
Ho!
I am not making this up. I literally had to duck under this turkey to avoid hitting it. At 76 miles an hour, a 22-pound turkey will fuck you up.
Okay, buddy. In his 2015 budget proposal, President Obama outlined $50 million for pollinator preservation. But that's in comparison to roughly $15 billion that the honeybees contribute to the U.S. economy, according to the White House.
Well, that's more than all the black people combined.
So, bees are important. Let's save the bees. Finally, the people who are in charge are on.
What a brilliant way to sell this.
We already taught the kids this.
The bees contribute $15 billion to the U.S. economy.
But if you think about it, they do.
I agree. I think that's probably because, listen, if the bees are gone,
we're all dead.
We're all dead.
So that's
it's good
worth a lot more.
It's hard to tell rich people why that matters because they won't be dead. They'll have rich people things to keep them.
Eventually, they'll be dead.
Eventually we'll all be dead. But the very rich will do just fine on their rich people rations, their little caviar or vacuum sealed, whatever rich people eat in the apocalypse.
Unless
they'll be
they're
fine
prepared
for a while.
for the apocalypse and spent their what is usable money now on usable things.
That's
if
the thing.
The planet dies, that money is going to be worth shit.
You go start telling rich
Food
people
will
about
be-
$15 billion missing from the economy, and they're like, "What?
Money?
Some of that's my $15 billion.
It's got to be. If it's not, I'll
must be.
make
I
it.
mean, I must have a portion of that $15 billion. It's got to be mine. I should.
Not, I'll figure out how to take it from somebody else.
Suddenly, the bees matter to me.
Whatever. Let's save the bees. However, we got to manipulate it.
That's fine. I'm good with that.
Moving on.
Save the bees, man.
Save the bees. You know what else we should save? Research for science. Quick pause. Little side note. Little dinger went off in the head. A little bookmark of memory. Congratulations to Dr. Thomas Allen. Dr. Tom from our little podcast here, our resident astrophysicist. He is officially
Yeah.
Dr. Tom.
The AirWreckRadio scientist is officially a doctor now.
Yes, he is. So congratulations to all your hard work and hundreds and thousands of dollars of money spent.
You hear that, other podcasts that swear about science? We have a doctor now, too.
Famed Atom Smasher gets twice the energy next year.
I want to read this one. Can I read this one?
Go ahead. Can you read it from there?
Yes. This is from the Associated Press, the good old Associated Press, bringing you the news in a mostly unbiased way as long as you read it a lot. Geneva, the world's largest atom smasher, is gearing up for its second 3-year run after 16 months of maintenance and upgrades. The Large Hadron Collider, which was used to discover a long theorized subatomic particle, is designed to push the proton beam close to the speed of light, whizzing 11,000 times a second around a 17-mile tunnel on the Swiss-French border near Geneva.
Fastest anybody has ever recorded. If we do it, it'll be the fastest it's ever been recorded.
I think that it's not really compelling to say close to the speed of light, because the speed the particles were going before was also close to. This is closer to the speed of light. 11,000 times around a 17-mile circle
Per second.
per second.
Per second.
That's fucking crazy.
Crazy fast.
Man, that's a little faster than my bike for sure. The world's top particle physics lab, known by its French acronym CERN, said Monday that the $10 billion collider is being improved and it's on track to resume early next year at double its former energy level.
Oh, yeah. We're going to be doing some fucking science.
Does that mean it's going to take twice as much energy?
Probably.
Well,
What are we using?
I mean, the Higgs boson particle
We
is
also might
pretty neat, kind of
we
confusing,
might also
but pretty
might
neat.
unlock the secret to unlimited energy through this practice. So, I say we fire this bad boy up and see what she can do.
We also might undo reality.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm just saying.
oh, that whole speed of light thing.
I'm just saying. Once it restarts, 2 beams will be fired again within the collider at the same time in opposite directions with the aim of recreating conditions a split second after the Big Bang, which scientists theorize... I did it again.
There's an L there.
Was the massive explosion that created the universe.
Poorly worded.
Very.
Very poorly worded there.
Did you know that the guy who...
Expansion. Massive expansion.
The guy... Yeah, that's right. There was no explosion because an explosion...
Requires matter.
says there had to be something to explode
It's
into.
expansion.
Where there wasn't. The guy who coined the term Big Bang did it jokingly, sneeringly, doesn't believe in the Big Bang. Well, didn't. I mean, I think he's dead now, but he was...
It was a sarcastic comment, but it fit.
Yeah. The next CERN experiments could reveal more about dark matter, antimatter, and possibly hidden dimensions of space and time. Quote, the machine is coming out of a long sleep after undergoing an important surgical operation. Can we please stop?
Okay, I'm with you on this. This was pretty gross.
It's a machine.
Skynet loves you.
I don't even know if this qualifies as a machine. It's like
It's a tube.
it's kind of a motor. I guess that's a machine. It does.
It's a
it
machine.
does work. It is
It's
a
a
machine,
machine.
but it doesn't have surgery. It doesn't
repairs,
sleep.
and then it goes repairs. It goes offline to undergo repairs.
God damn it! Stop anamorphizing machines, please. Especially large hadron colliders. Gosh,
Skynet loves you.
they don't even look like people. That was what Frederick Bordry said. He's the director for accelerators and technology at the European Organization for Nuclear Research and providing anamorphic features to non-human things. During its first run, the particle accelerator was used to discover the subatomic particle known as the Higgs boson, without which particles would not hold together, and there would be no matter. The state-of-the-art accelerator...
Well, that might matter.
no, it wouldn't, because there'd be nobody for it to matter to. The state-of-the-art accelerator and teams of thousands of CERN-based scientists helped Peter Higgs win the Nobel Prize last year by proving his theories
Correct.
I'm going to paraphrase and say correct.
Thank you. All right, moving on.
It's effectively, quote, it's effectively a new machine poised to set us on the path to new discoveries, said CERN director General Rolf Huer.
Let's fire this bad boy up and see what you can do.
I like
a sixer and a lawn chair. We're going to sit back and we're going to smash some atoms.
I like the
We're
hit.
going to recreate the beginning of the universe and undo it in the same moment. It's going to be awesome.
I like the Large Hadron Collider. What I don't like is that
What if we just did it again?
I don't like that it's in Europe
Okay.
instead of here.
Is that patriotism? Is there...
Yes.
Okay.
That is patriotism. Americans, fellow American listeners,
We should be the
used
lead
to
of
be
science.
in the lead of science. Remember when we started the Cold War because we had the bomb? Well, I mean, it's a little more complicated than that. But
how many German scientists helped create that son of a bitch?
well, they were ex-German scientists, thanks to Germany's terrible policy making.
And our total wealth.
Did you know
Here you go,
Hitler
money.
actually said when one of his top scientists, physicists actually, when one of his top physicists said to him, if we expel the Jews, our science we're not going to have good science. And Hitler actually responded to that, then Germany will be without science for a couple of years.
Well...
How'd that work out for you, Hitler?
Well...
Hey, Hitler, don't be a fucking racist. Just saying.
And I'd like to fast forward a couple of generations, and we now have UAV drones that will kill you from space.
Well, almost space. I
Almost
guess it depends on how you define space. But more importantly, we have that, but we don't have a space agency with human manned missions right now, and we don't have a Large Hadron Collider that's bigger and better than the one the Europeans have, even though we have more raw materials
And the
more
room-
fuel, more everything than the Europeans have.
This goes through like 3 countries, this thing.
Yeah, it would only need to go through 3 states.
Not even 17 miles. We could put that in the middle of North Dakota.
No, fuck that. I want one that's 34 miles and goes through Alabama, Nebraska, and California. Because I want it to be that fancy. I want it to be so fancy that it can move particles from one place to another and then continue in space and then out of space. See,
Let's not do that yet. Let's slow down. We'll
Just
do that eventually.
all right. Well then,
Let's
How
figure
about-
it out first.
how about Alabama, North Carolina, South Carolina?
How about we should just have the monopoly on this? I mean,
Well, not monopoly.
okay, controlling interest?
We should have a good
What
one.
other good consumerist word should I use?
We should have a good one too. They have one. We should have one.
We could pair up with Canada, and then we'll be international and cool.
What are you telling me? We don't have. We couldn't use the jobs.
To build the damn thing.
Hey, I got an idea. Let's put this one on the back burner for a while and fix the fucking roads. Let's put some people to work fixing the fucking roads. The infrastructure that's falling apart around us. Let's fix that stuff. We'll put people to work and fix that stuff.
But there's not enough money to go around.
And that's why we're not going back to Iraq right now.
All right. Yeah, we're just falling apart at these seas.
Did you hear the president said he sent from the Associated Press, Obama sending up to 300 military advisors to Iraq. You know what I like about 300?
It's a number from a popular movie.
It was a good movie. It expresses a brave but tragic ending.
It's a power of 3.
It's
nice round
not
number.
It's not 20,000.
Oh, it's 300 officials.
It's not all our boys who have already done more than they should have had to do over this venture to buy up Iraqi corporations using American military might. Yeah. Washington, from the Associated Press. President Barack Obama on Thursday said he was dispatching up to 300 military advisors to Iraq to help quell the rising insurgents in the crumbling state. Hey, Cory, why is that state crumbling?
Probably because it's fairly stable government and economy was disrupted by an intrusive force of bumbling amounts of power.
Who did that?
Oh,
Come on. Oh, damn it. It was us.
Oh,
it's
fuck.
like we go in with a jackhammer and then use our troops as glue to hold the concrete together, and then we pull our troops out and are shocked when the concrete turns to gravel.
I've said it since we started this, and I'll continue to say it. We are still really good at killing shit. We will blow shit up left and motherfucking right.
Any child can kill something. It takes a skillful...
It's the rebuilding process, because we feel that we're required, after we level these terrible little fucking countries, we feel that it's our responsibility to rebuild them. And it is, especially when you invaded a sovereign nation that didn't attack you. But we can't do it well. We suck at that part. We're failing here, and the things that are failing here are causing the things we're doing over there to be impossible.
See, the trouble is that we look at the world as a hammer looks at a problem. So everything must be a nail. The trouble is the world's a garden. You don't need your fucking hammer and nails in the garden. And even when you do need your hammer and nails in the garden, you don't nail your plants up. That's not what you do. The trouble is, it's not about getting there and killing people. It's about affecting the changes that we see as being beneficial. And there's nothing wrong with trying to manipulate events to your benefit. We all do it. Everybody does it. And it's okay. It's okay for people to do that. But what's wrong is when you have short-sighted view, like you set these goals that are so short-sighted. There's just no, like, how could we have gotten into this quagmire and thought we were going to get out clean? Did we think that?
Yes.
Or did just the millionaires be like, well, we're going to get in there and we're going to be rich and America's going to be a fucking mess and it doesn't matter because we're going to be rich? Because that's what I'm starting to think is what they thought.
I don't know that they knew America was going to be a mess, because I think it was kind of an opposite chain of events.
I think it doesn't matter to them. I think to the Bushes, I don't think it matters to them.
I think that because America's a mess, it allowed for this kind of thing to happen with the execution of private contracting, everything over there but the catching bullets.
Right.
Catching bullets we still do with the public soldiers. Everything else is privatized.
Yeah. It's kind of like with banks or car companies these days. It's public loss, private gain. That's how we do things these days. We call ourselves capitalists, but we're really socialist, but only when it comes to losses.
Uh-huh.
See, the rich, they get to reap all the gains, and everybody else suffers the consequences of the losses. The rich, the bankers didn't go to jail. The bankers that
Bankers never
they didn't
do.
technically break laws, but they did duplicitous, disgusting things, and we can all look at it and know it's disgusting, but nobody goes to jail. Nobody loses their fortune, just the shareholders, just the people.
Uh-huh.
The people lose because we don't hold the people that make. It's like that the GM recall.
Okay, that's
That
on my
the
list.
switch, the ignition switch on the GM recall. We talked about this before. Some asshole at Delphi decided that switch would be fine, even though somebody else told him that switch is going to catch on fire, dude. We can't use that. And this guy's like, no, fuck people. We'll be fine. If 3 people get burned up, nobody's losing millions. I'm certainly not. And guess what? That guy's still not losing millions. He's fine. He's probably still got his job.
And it's like 14 now.
14 people.
It's like 14 now, yeah.
Dead.
Uh-huh.
Over some Delphi asshole making a decision.
Knowingly allowing a faulty part to be put in an automobile.
Willfully and purposefully, this person who made the decision, who green-lighted that, is responsible for murder. Or at least neglectful homicide.
Of 14 people.
Something that comes with a loss to him. You can't just tramp around like this.
See, as long as they're this rich, they're untouchable. As long as they hoard that much money.
Nobody's untouchable. We just need to reach out and touch them.
Okay. Whoa. We're going to start with the bullet talk. Knock it off.
No, we just need to communicate about it. People need to communicate about these kind of things. See, the trouble is that we're all so tribalized. Nobody talks anymore about this kind of stuff. Like you and me talk about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's
why we do this.
In a room of 20 people, how many people do you think are going to talk about this? If you and me are two of those people.
And are we, okay, I guess there's more parameters here, and I'm sorry to be this way, but are we purposefully spreading the word?
About something. I'm always purposefully spreading. These days, I am always purposely spreading the word about something. But
we can get at least 5 people to listen to us at a time.
The other people in the room are probably talking about what they saw on TV last week or something. And there's nothing wrong with like a little light banter and stuff. There's nothing. I'm not saying, folks, it's all doom and gloom all the time. But it's important that we start communicating better with our fellow stranger. We're all strangers until we get to know each other. Then we're not strangers anymore. And if you're wrong, you're wrong. If the general consensus is that I'm wrong, then I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's how that works.
But until we can get to a general consensus,
it's called a consensus.
I would like to talk and about things like this.
And you can hear more talk about things like this on Stacey's wonderful own show, Something to Talk About.
If I ever get around to making my wonderful own show some more.
You've got 2 great episodes out there for the people that haven't heard them to hear them.
I have 2 pretty all right episodes.
You've done all right.
I think they're both pretty solid episodes.
They're worth getting the people out there to listen to.
They are. You can find them in the AirWreckRadio stream on your Stitcher or your iTunes or
everywhere you find AirWreckRadio, you can find those shows.
Or on the AirWreckRadio website, of course. Don't forget AirWreckRadio.com. We need your love. We need your visits. Go to the website. Go to the next story.
Yes, moving on. More Obama talk.
Ooh.
Obama administrators justified using drones to kill Americans suspected of terrorism overseas.
Again, or...
By citing the war against al-Qaeda and by saying surprise attack against Americans in a foreign land would not violate the laws of war, according to a previously secret government memorandum released currently on Monday.
Why's it got to be secret if it's okay?
That's a good question. The memo provided legal justification for the September 2011 killing in Yemen of Anwar al-Awlaki, an al-Qaeda leader who was born in the United States, and another U.S. citizen, Samir Khan, in October 2011 strike, who also killed Abdulrahman Al-Awlaki, Anwar Al-Awlaki, whatever.
What's? Hold on.
Anwar Al-Awlaki, son, Abdulrahman Al-Awlaki.
Abdul Rahman.
Good for you. Was also a U.S. citizen. The memo written by Justice Department officials said that killing of the men was justified under a law passed by Congress soon after the September 11, 2001 terror attacks. The law empowered the president to use force against organizations that planned, unauthorized, and committed the attacks.
That planned, authorized, and committed the attacks. Drones.
Ah.
Drones are an ugly subject. You just shouldn't kill people, and if you have to kill people, you shouldn't do it with remote control planes.
That can kill you from space.
It just seems so not the American way. Like, but I don't know. You know, I don't know the specifics about those 2 people. I don't know what kind of badness they were up to, and I don't know.
Kind of things that they do.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? Does the story continue at all?
It does.
You sure dumped off of that story pretty quick.
Yeah. It's a little old.
It is definitely, you know, like this is not like they didn't just kill more Americans. This is a story following up the 2011 killing of 2 American citizens who were judging by their names, which is not the way to do it, but we'll just go with it for a second. Judging by their names, which I realize makes me a hypocrite.
For the entire first
It
hour
sure
of
does.
the show.
You're right. Probably
profiling.
Well, I even said it's okay to profile as long as you don't abuse that.
Sense.
You got to. You have to. Come on, man. You don't cross the street when you see a bunch of rough-looking youths walking your way.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's profiling. Shame on you. they don't sound like third-generation American citizens to me. They don't sound like they're necessarily the most automatically trustworthy American citizens. Now, that doesn't mean just because they have ethnic names, certainly doesn't mean that they are by default worthy of drone strikes, but I think it's safe to say that they weren't killed on a whim.
Well, you never know.
I might be wrong, though. You're right. You know what? You're right. I do never know.
Al-Awlaki had been involved in an abortive attack against the United States and was planning other attacks from his base in Yemen. It was said the authority to use lethal force abroad may apply to appropriate circumstances to a U.S. citizen who is part of the forces of an enemy of an organization.
See, now, if there are...
That's not a terrible argument.
If there are definitely evidences
argument.
that he was planning attacks and had participated in failed attacks before, okay, we got no problem here.
I think I'm okay until we start using drones to kill people here.
Or Canada or Mexico or anywhere under the Monroe Doctrine.
A civilized society. When you were using it as a policing tool and not a wartime machine.
Couldn't we just try to be an America that foreigners don't have to hate? Oh, then we wouldn't need drones. Couldn't we just
But how are we going to take the world's wealth, how are we going to hoard that and have them like us? It's not going to happen. All right, listen. We all know that the economy in this place has taken a dive. It started long ago. It took a head in 2008, and it's still going down.
The paper economy
is
taking a dive. However, the natural resources are still here.
And that's here, and we're supposed to be the world's leader. Most of Europe is stone cold fucking poor. Most of South America and Africa, poor. 90% of Asia, broke. It's only a small amount of the larger cities in Asia that are doing as well as other. Where's all the money going if everybody else is broke?
Well, we know where the money's going. The money's going up, but I don't like the use of words like most and 90% when we don't know.
They're loose. It's loose talking figures.
I know. I just have a hard time jumping on the bandwagon with you with those kind of terms. But your point is not invalidated. It goes up, Corey.
Yeah.
The money goes up.
There you go.
It goes up and it doesn't come back down because there's no regulating force. Here's the thing. When people get to keep billions and billions of dollars that they quote unquote earn in a year, when individuals get to keep millions of dollars that they quote unquote earn in a year, they can't possibly spend it so that money doesn't go back into the economy because there's no tax structure
large enough to compensate
to get that money back into disbursement. And that's a fucking problem that we're having. I mean, that's a problem. And
you want to know why the world wants to hate us, but that is
why.
That's the reason.
Well, what can we do to fix it is what I want to know. And what I think we can do is talk about it and get people to put pressure upwards. It takes a lot of people to put... Listen, the thing about pressure working upstream is that it takes a lot more people to put that pressure on than it does to put it back on the other way. One rich guy puts that pressure down. Oh God, he's got.
He could hire a really rich guy. We're talking the top 80. The 80 people that we were talking about.
I'm talking an employer of a small company. He hears a couple of employees talking about stuff he don't like. You're fired.
I'm talking on a bigger scale, but
no, on a micro scale. On a macro scale, same thing.
They could hire a private army.
Yeah. And they could call it a gated community and put security people in charge of running things. And that'll keep the poor people out because poor people are totally not worth of seeing my grass. And I shouldn't have to suffer seeing them even though I created them.
I'm pretty sure it's Omnicorp.
Omnicorp. What is that from?
RoboCop.
Thank you. Thank you. Corey, Do you think it's time maybe we go to break?
I think that's a good thing to do, but we should remind the folks about a little thing we got coming up.
Ooh.
AirWreckRadio, your friends, are going again to Scott and Mel's Clam Bake. It's their third annual. It's our second time being there. We're going to be streaming the whole event live.
I'm very excited about this because I didn't get to go last year. I'm really looking forward to doing it this year.
There's going to be live music, camping while space is available, and all you can eat and drink. We got some clam bake. We got some pig roast. I'm sure they got some hots and patatas.
Donations accepted.
Well, actually, there's tickets this year that are money's donation tickets.
Yeah.
But $20 a person. Bring $20 for your head.
AirWreckRadio ourselves is bringing 200 beers, and all we want you to do is just come and drink them with us. I've made 200 beers for this event to just give away to people.
To drink with our fans.
So you come on down to Mel's Clam Bake. You go to our Facebook page, and you'll find information to bring you to Mel's Clam. I don't want to just yell out his address over the...
No, that's fine.
But this is an open invitation, Wreckheads.
Yes,
this
it is.
This
just
is
stop by and find out how you get there.
Big-ass party going on. And the guy, he's a gracious host. He's got outhouses and stuff set up. There's camping. Stay overnight. It's going to be fun. There's bands. There's good bands. Still current friends of the podcast here. Revolution Theory is going to be playing.
Yes. They got great bands. Entertainment starts at 1. It goes all night through. Revolution Theory, our friends, is the headliners. And if you cannot make it, we will be streaming the event and the music and our wonderful witty commentary, maybe even a podcast, from AirWreckRadio.com live.
That's right.
The whole thing.
Most importantly, free beer.
Free burr.
We will see you on the other side of this break. Hey, folks. This here's Stacey from AirWreckRadio. And if you like listening to me talk, I got the show for you. It's called Something to Talk About. The show where I talk about something, hoping that you will talk about it. Sometimes I have guests, sometimes I don't have guests. Sometimes I don't even have a show. But when I do, it's called Something to Talk About. And I hope it gives you something to talk about.
Welcome back into the third and final segment of your favorite podcast, AirWreckRadio. Thank you for sitting through. Just a little word from us and our friends and many other things.
I was actually thinking, not to spoil your bring back,
We can just do it again.
that I would just not have a break there. Now I'm going to have to.
We'll just redo it.
No, I'm fucking with you. One way or the other, Corey, I'm fucking with you. So
That's what I'm trying to figure out right now.
there's
I quit.
nothing you're going to do
I'm
to
fucking
stop
done
that.
with you. This is bullshit. I'm tired of this abuse.
Well, I'm tired too. So we're going to finish up this episode here with a
You
little
had an update, right?
a little update from a story earlier on in the episode.
Two things we've actually said we do that we did
Yeah.
in one episode.
So for podcast listeners who are not live listeners, you're already going to know all about this. Sorry for the old news. It's news and news to us here
That's how the
live
Canadian thing works.
on Monday night. Friendly reminder, you can hear our show live, airwreckradio.com, every Monday night. We start between 7 and 8:30-ish. And
It
we
was
go
very smooth up until then.
and we go until whenever we're done.
And then some.
Sometimes that's 1 o'clock. I'm not asking you to come and check out the whole thing, but come and get drunk with us, man.
Never sell cars.
Don't we have a message board? Do we have a message board?
Not at the moment. It's down.
You can listen. Here's what you do. You have
We have Twitter.
You have two windows open, right? And you can tweet into the show if you listen live, or you can go to the Facebook and post
Exactly.
live. And if you know Cory or I, you can text us. Although honestly, we both try very hard not to look at our phones during the show because we found, I think it was episode 4, where we tried to use our phones while making the show and we couldn't concentrate on anything.
We had another brain to the phone. Shut your brain down.
Like you using your phone made my brain stop working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's programming. It's breeding that we've got. You saw somebody pick up their other brain, and you were like, okay, I got to shut down my
Right,
activity
exactly.
while they access their other brain.
Ooh, he's got something shiny. I'm going to look at it.
And then that makes you want to look at your other brain.
Right.
Because, well, I'm part of this group, too. I got one.
So, basically, friends, if you know us personally, don't text message us during the show because we're...
Wow, it's fun how they turned around.
But...
It's amazing what happens if we don't have a structure and we just ramble.
Do tweet. Do tweet us. Do Facebook us. We keep both of those things open the whole time we're making the live show. And, again, if you can't make it to the live show, we're available to download. iTunes, Stitcher. Hey, you found us this time, you'll find us again. We're available for download. So earlier in the show, we talked about the Amber Alert that went out today. This is an update that I got from Twitter from Nick Ferreira. For immediate release on June 23rd, 2014, at approximately 11:24 a.m., the Greece Police Department began an investigation into a missing 16-year-old female from a place in North Greece.
Thank you.
As information was obtained, an Amber Alert was activated for the female at approximately 2 p.m. today. A short time later, the female and the vehicle were located at the Brockport area. In the Brockport area. The female was not injured and was found alone with the vehicle. The Greece Police Department can confirm that the vehicle was not abducted and that the investigation is ongoing. Now, they probably could have sent an Amber Alert saying, hey, stop harassing people in sobs. We found them.
Yeah, that might be that could have been a follow-up. Again, like we said, new technology, new information, new things.
It's the first time I ever saw one of these.
Yeah, well, maybe next time there's a cancel the Amber Alert, too. So you get an Amber Alert with a link for more information, and then all clear, stand down.
Right. Some kind of deactivate something. Something.
I think it would be, military speak, it would be a debrief.
Anything.
I think video games taught me that.
How about... maybe in the future, when you're going to unleash a new technology on my phone, let me know ahead of time. So I
might be an advertisement might help.
I wonder how many accidents were caused today.
What's that strange noise that happened to my phone?
Is that a text message? I better check it while I'm driving.
Oh!
That's precisely how they found this girl. She crashed her car checking her Amber Alert.
That's not true at all. No, you did very good, but at the very end, you smiled just the corner of your lip pulled up just a little bit, and I knew you were full of it.
Wouldn't that be some shit though? She's like, "What the fuck's going on with my phone? Oh, Amber Alert, Sob. Oh shit! I'm driving a Sob.
Smash!
I better call the police. Hello, police. Yeah, I'm the person. Yeah, no, I'll hold." Oh, fuck, the cops. Oh, I better hang up this phone. Man, roll down your window. Hello, officer. And then, it goes on from there.
I would have much rather her just smash into a tree. It'd have been more fun.
I can't make a good smash into a tree noise. And plus, there's nothing at all funny about that when a 16-year-old smashes into a tree.
Well, I didn't think we needed to peel her off the tree.
Jesus Christ, Corey. How about a little couth?
How about you finish the story?
That was it.
Oh.
It was just a Twitter update, man. 150 characters.
Well, okay.
The investigation is ongoing.
Little bitch stole the car. Somebody called an Amber Alert because she was a missing child. There's a little false alarm action going on.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
But shit happens because shit happens. So that was the end of the story. How about we end the show?
Good idea, Corey. It's tea time.
It's late in the afternoon, the sun rising high. There's nothing to do around here, and if there was, well, I wouldn't try. Taking my comforts, taking good care of me. Sitting down in my easy chair, taking a sip of my sassafras tea. Now wouldn't you know it, there goes the phone again. It's probably just another wrong number, but someone tried to sell me something I can't even see. Well, I got the solution. How to deal with this tea. Just sit down in my easy chair and take a big sip of my sassafras tea. It's getting near evening, the sun going down. I guess I should shake a leg, climb in my car and roll downtown. Check out the city lights, all decked out in a tux and a tie. But I'm sitting in my easy chair, taking a sip of my sassafras tea. Now wouldn't you know it, oh, here comes my neighbor Jim. He got the willies and the worries on his mind, and the weight of the world putting pressure on his spine. Well, I got the solution. I know how to set him